Good evening. First tonight, the plan to make the jobless work for their dole. Prime Minister John Howard unveiled the radical scheme to try to deflect attention from the embarrassing Woods affair. But he was then caught out by news that police are investigating another government MP.
National Party MP Michael Cobb is the latest parliamentarian to be investigated for alleged expense rorts. The Prime Minister says he was briefed last August.
The Attorney-General mentioned it to me on one other occasion as well. As a continuing police investigation, I understand Michael Cobb's denied the allegations. He, like Bob Woods, is entitled to a presumption of innocence.
Mr Howard confirmed that Australian Federal Police had raided Mr Cobb's offices in Dubbo and Broken Hill. It comes on top of the scandal-facing Liberal Senator Bob Woods, who is facing a similar investigation.
We've got here a do-nothing Prime Minister, it seems, on multiple fronts, who just lets these things blandly pass him by. It's a funny old code of conduct when you only act if you're flushed out, if you're caught.
Senator Evans says he'd support greater accountability from politicians about how they spend their travel allowances. The government is in damage control mode, and in an attempt to get these allegations off the front page, today decided to announce a controversial scheme to force many young unemployed people to work for their dole.
What I've got in mind is to pilot both voluntary and compulsory schemes in regional and rural areas of Australia.
Mr Howard cited the example of a recent scheme where people were employed to meet and greet tourists in Sydney. The dole workers would be on the job for about 15 to 20 hours a week at award wages, until they'd earned the equivalent of their unemployment benefit. The move was immediately attacked by the unions.
Well, we're opposed to working for the dole on the basis that John Howard is trying to blame the victims rather than looking for solutions.
Paul Smith, 10 News.
The man at the centre of the latest rorting allegations flew back to Sydney from overseas tonight. Michael Cobb confirmed he's being investigated, but said he wouldn't stand aside because he's done nothing wrong.
Michael Cobb stepped off the plane from a trip to Papua New Guinea and straight into the spotlight over travel rorts. The stunned Nationals backbencher confirmed he is being investigated, but implied it's a witch hunt.
I'll just say politicians tend to be targets of cheap allegations and vexatious claims, and I'm confident that when this is wrapped up, I'll be fully cleared.
The MP says police searched his offices in Dubbo and Broken Hill late last year, possibly on a tip-off from a former staff member.
Mr Cobb, is there any connection between these allegations and former employees?
That is possible, but I don't know whether that's true or not.
Former employees claim that you, that they had to make excuses for you in family matters. Is that true?
It's news to me.
Mr Cobb says he hasn't spoken to the Prime Minister. However, he can expect a grilling over the affair when he faces Parliament tomorrow. But he seems undaunted, saying he intends to try and have this latest $2,000 trip to New Guinea funded by the taxpayers.
It was a legitimate overseas trip, and if the Minister gives the thumbs up to it, I'll obviously be able to claim that out of an overseas trip entitlement. There's no question about that.
Tracy Chamberlain, 10 News.